A 1, 2, 3.
Gonna walk that promenade, yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade, be the talk of that promenade. Looking for a star drifter, not a shapeshifter. Lots to do and more to see. Sweet sticks from a jump tree, oh, oddities, opportunities. Free advice, but not for cheap, oh, gambling wheels, shaded deals. Meet me back here tomorrow, please. Walk that promenade. Yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade.
Hello and good evening for this Monday, April 29th, 2024. Star Trek DS9, Season 7, Episode 23, Extreme Measures is over, and it has been for 25 years. But we're just getting started here in 2024 for our review of this episode as we continue almost our closing moments here and watching every episode of Star Trek DS9 and rating it. I'm Dave Mader here on Live Long and Podcast, a live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. We got a great panel once again to break this all down with. First off, here's the guy who's waiting for an answer to his question. It's Kevin Millard.
Okay.
What's the question?
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, I want to know what the question is.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for an answer to my question.
I
Yeah.
see.
That was my reference. Come on, guys. I'm a little disorganized here tonight. Coming in next, here's the guy who loves his wife. It's Adam Woodward.
Yes, I do. I
love
my wife.
I love my wife. Okay, but and then lastly, here's the guy with all of the deep secrets that he'll take to the grave. It's Jody Simpson.
That's extremely true.
Extreme Measures.
Extreme Measures.
Exactly. Guys, we're breaking down this episode. If you haven't watched Star Trek DS9, Season 7, Episode 23, Extreme Measures, spoiler alert, we'll be breaking down this whole episode, talking about it for the next hour, and then, putting a bow on it with a rating. This is the 173rd episode overall in the show. Came out May 17th, 1999, and is the, technically the fourth last episode, depending if you consider the finale 2 episodes or not, as it's a 2-parter. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about all this episode, Extreme Measures, a Section 31 episode, you could say, very O'Brien and Bashir themed. Not even just very. It's pretty much just them and Sloan for the whole episode. Let's start off here with Adam. This would be the first time he's watching this episode in his lifetime. Adam, how was this one for you?
Okay. Well, listen, after coming in from pretty high episodes, and I'm not saying this one's isn't a good episode. I just was confused. It went completely different direction. We have 2 episodes left now? 2?
Well, we have one more and then a 2-hour finale.
All
So
right,
there's kind of 3 left. But
three episodes. It didn't seem to fit in here, guys. I don't know. I don't understand where it fit in the story other than the getting the cure. I get that part. But man, it was a different pace.
Yep.
It was very Bashir and Julian focused. Julian and O'Brien focused. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely, I agree with you that it's a different pace. And my apologies. We're starting a little late here tonight for the live streamers. Just because I just didn't pull the episode together, until late. So I was still pulling a couple sounds and pictures. But I'm watching this episode. I'm like, there's not a lot of cuts. It's a lot of scenes where it's just a 2-shot of O'Brien and Bashir, and this they could have probably fit in another plot line into this episode and not miss too much. But I guess we can talk about all that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll wait.
All right.
Go
How
ahead.
about let's move over to Jody next. Jody,
Hey, welcome back, Jody.
and welcome back. I haven't seen you in like at least a week or two.
Yeah, I've been back and forth with my not pregnant anymore dog, but she had puppies, so I've been dealing with that.
Well, that's good, and all are healthy. I understand.
Yes.
So, but puppies aside, extreme measures, Jody. How is this one for you?
Compared to playing with puppies, I would say this isn't as fun. I'm honestly, I'm kind of with Adam on this one. It's even though yes, it does kind of fit in, but it doesn't really fit in that well. Like this to me was like oh shit, we have to cure Odo. We got to put an episode in there somewhere with Odo getting cured. like it was almost like it felt like an afterthought that they just kind of threw in at the end. So
yeah,
but it's just, I don't know, like it's not a terrible episode. It's there's way worse episodes of DS9 than this one.
Yeah, that's also true.
I wouldn't say it's one of the flagships of this arc, but what can you do?
It felt, aside from the Odo thing, it didn't even feel like it felt like part of the arc.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, are we crazy?
I love it.
You love
I love it. I absolutely love this. I love the dive into Sloane's mind. I love good Sloane. I love bad Sloane. I love all of it. I love how cheesy
Sloane was definitely the best part of the whole episode.
Yes, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
But how cheesy some of this stuff is too between Bashir and O'Brien. I love it. I love it. It's Trek. It's classic Trek.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's be clear. I didn't say I didn't like it. I just thought it was very different from where we were going for the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I think this whole 9-part finale, I think, is something I'm still trying to process, in terms of this rewatch, because I didn't think of it in that way at the time when we were watching week to week back, 25 years ago. And I really, haven't like binged it, in any kind of sequential form in those, in the next 25 years. If this episode happened beyond, I might watch it. And I think it's not badly done, but I think in terms of its place here in the 9-part, in this 9-hour story, which, is different for any kind of Star Trek show in this era. I feel like it just could use more action, or maybe you could do an 8-part finale and just tighten this up a bit. But like in terms of like the dialogue, I think that's all really strong. I think that the performances are good. It's just that it lacks a lot of spectacle and action for me. It's a real stage kind of show. It's like,
yeah, it's so great.
It's like a bottle episode here in the end, right? So it's like we can get all through that, but they've been setting this up for a while. And even specifically in the last episode, we're going to lure somebody here from Section 31, and I feel like that story last week could have, used more breathing room, like this one got, with the whole, Gowron of it all, and him, and the transfer of everything else. And you could have maybe fit some of that stuff from last episode into this episode. But that is, those little kind of critiques aside, I think this stuff did have to happen. Norman saying Sloane deserved much better for an intriguing villain. And he, of course, spoilers.
This was great for him.
I would have liked to see him go out a different way, but still.
No, this was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
How you think he would, right? So
yes, he's protecting his secrets, but you go into his mind and you find out, he's got a good side. It's perfect for him. We're looking into this villain's mind, and we don't get that a lot in other Trek anyway. It's always the protagonist that we're looking at. This is a lot like that Fear episode of Voyager, and I love that too.
That's actually a good episode. I'm not a big Voyager fan, but that's a good episode.
I would not, Norman saying, I would not have minded a one-off scene with Ducat on the street. Don't worry, we'll catch up with him next episode. let's talk about it. Let's get through the screenshots. Let's really break down what happens in this episode and talk all about it. So Odo is back here. So after Kira and Garrick and Damar and all them, they had all stolen the Jemadar ship and the Breen weapon in the last episode. It just catches up here with Odo is sick, and that's kind of how the last episode ended. With Odo in Kira's arms. Yeah. He wants to know, how long do I have, Doctor? And Bashir says, I don't know, a week, maybe 2. And he says, okay, bring in Kira. And then, he says to Kira, you have to go back on this mission with Damar and the Cardassian resistance and do that. I don't want you to watch me die. It's pretty well written scene, I think. I think it works pretty well.
What was missing from it, though? Seeing what happened when she went back.
Yeah. Well, she'll find.
Kind of get that in the next one.
Yeah, I know, but
comes up later.
Dave, you're saying they could have done a third act in this whole thing, and that would have been it. To me.
Maybe, yeah. Like in terms of making it a one, like more of a self-contained episode, which this kind of isn't, because it's just one chapter in this other story. They kind of, say this all down, and they bring up Burial, guys. Remember, Burial died here.
Same place.
And
still no one cares.
Still no one.
Still nobody cares.
Maybe Odo. I don't know.
It's true.
So he doesn't want he doesn't want Kira to stay. Doesn't want him to watch her to watch him. Whatever. So anyway, so then they come out of the room, and then Garrick and them are on their way. They're going to go back to the Resistance. Kira is reluctantly going here, and then she says to Bashir, "Do everything you can," or get going here. So this is where then O'Brien, after Kira and Garrick leave, O'Brien says to Bashir, "We got to tell him. Tell me what?" Cisco wants to know. What are you talking about? Well, we're going to try to lure a Section 31 operative here because my research is going nowhere and da-da-da-da-da. We're going to try to capture him. Cisco, not super enthused with this plan.
He's pretending. He's play acting all the way. He's in on this plan right away.
Yeah.
What?
He is a thespian.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't hold back in his facial expressions here as he's dealing with these two. And basically is like, well, this is a long shot at best, and they kind of explain, well, why didn't you tell me? And all these things. Oh, okay. Well, this is your plan. Great plan, guys.
Yeah, good plan. I'm excited. Let's go.
And that's our teaser for the episode. Yeah. Although it's a pretty long teaser in terms of its chunk of the episode
compared to most of them.
Yeah,
mostly like because 8 minutes long or something like that. It's long.
It's a good run. Well, I think they kind of had to though, because with the whole Kira Odo thing, like you can't just kind of cut that up. Like it's
the Kira and Odo of it all was like, and they knew they wanted to get Kira, I guess, off the episode, so that scene goes about as long as it needs to, but then you have to tack on all this. And now what is the setup here with O'Brien, Bashir, and Cisco that they have to do after? So that's why 8 minutes. Here we go. Extreme Measures, our title card of the episode. And so a little time later, O'Brien finds Bashir at Quark's, who's broken in the middle of the night playing darts.
I love that they're always breaking into Quark's now, apparently.
Yeah, that's their thing. How'd you get in? The lock's not that complicated.
Let's just help ourselves to a drink.
Let's help ourselves to a drink.
You got to remember the security guy's laid up. So
yeah, Odo's not going to do anything about this.
Yeah, Odo's not doing nothing about it.
Right.
Not in the best of times.
I'm sure Quark will put it on their tab. So, but I do like Bashir's like rant here about how he hates the Section 31 and they're at the heart of the Federation, and they need to be destroyed.
It's a great screen capture.
Where he's just throwing the thing.
Section 31 have managed to stay in hiding for over 300 years.
100 years.
It's been longer than that, technically.
Yeah, and.
We learn that later.
And that there's this whole idea like genocide, which is also talked about by Cisco in the beginning, that this is going on. So anyway, back in Bashir's quarters in the middle of the night, he wakes up to find, who is it? Sloane, sitting there in the dark, but they're ready for him, and they turn on the force field. and they capture him. They, oh, I've got you now, Sloan. He's like, what will you do to me, Bashir? He's like, yeah, you gotta ask me questions. Bashir just gets out a phaser, and drops the force field and phasers him, knocking him unconscious. A little short time later. Oh, yeah, he called the chief, by the way, too, in there. So got him on a bio bed here in some lab somewhere else on the station.
This was great. When he starts threatening O'Brien's family, this was amazing.
Hey,
you didn't
Chief,
see this in TV back then.
No.
In these type of shows.
Well,
how's your family?
Not on this type of network television.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
HBO and stuff he did, but
absolutely.
Yeah. He's like, don't pay any attention to him, Chief. He's just using his underhanded tactics again. That's easy for you to say, Bashir. You don't have a family.
Yeah,
etc.
You're a lonely person.
So good.
You shut your mouth. You're a lonely person.
But they explain what they're going to do here. That they're going to use these Romulan mind probes, which are illegal in the Federation. I don't know if they're more illegal than Romulan now or
Actually,
less.
that's a good point. Sorry. Norman here says, so incognito in that leather.
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't they kind of hear him? Like, he'd be like squeaking the whole way in.
Well, I guess he beams in, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
maybe.
their costumes are not super incognito. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But I like how Sloane's like, I thought you were just like an idealist, Bashir, but now I see you're actually a dangerous man. And then he activates like his little suicide pill or whatever. To destroy his brainwaves, and they have to stabilize him very quickly. So,
see, for a guy who's like Section 31, though, he wasn't very good at concealing the fact that, oh my God, they're going to get the information they want.
Right?
Like
Yeah. Well, it seems like between the Romulan mind probes or whatever, like I don't know, like, and you think that Sloane would have had some backup on this mission, maybe a partner, but. Seems like he doesn't. He seems
but
like
if you take a look at the screenshot you took, like a few go back a bit. His he had his face. He looked actually scared on there. It is.
Yeah. What do you want to say?
I said he was looking actually. I mean, when he acknowledged the fact that, oh shit, they're gonna find out what they want to find out now.
Right. Yeah. Well, they explain. He's like, like we lured you here. We made up this fake thing about the cure just to get it. And he's like, I'm sorry about Odo, but I can't let you have this cure. And that's when he activates his device.
But he goes out like Hitler. Like, come on. Like that's literally how he went out. Like it's the same idea.
Did he shoot himself? Yeah, I guess it's the same.
No, Hitler didn't shoot himself. He cyanide pilled him.
Oh, he cyanide pilled himself? Okay.
Well, depends on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone really knows.
Yeah. It makes me always think about like Get Smart. There was a scene with Maxwell Smart and the Chaos guy, and they tell you, hey, what's your cyanide pill? Mine comes in Tutti Frutti. And they were like comparing flavors and stuff.
That was such a good show.
Yeah. Anyway, so Bashir comes up with this plan. He's like, well, with a little bit of prompting here from O'Brien, like let's take the Romulan mind probes and like reverse engineer them and do some kind of weird wacko thing to achieve what we need to, which is basically dream walking.
Apparently, Bashir can come up with all of this, but he can't help build it. No. That has to be the engineer,
right?
But
well, if he could build it, he wouldn't need O'Brien.
He can't actually stick tubes into things, even though he can do.
I can dream it. I just can't make it.
He can do precise surgery and do other little things.
Just so you know, guys, I've already figured out warp travel. I just haven't found an engineer yet that can build it.
Yeah, you just need somebody with hands, right? So then Bashir explains he's got to go into Sloane's mind, which will be like streets or something. And basically, O'Brien says, "Well, you can't go in there by yourself because if you could get caught up in there, you might need help. I can't let you go on this mission by yourself." So basically he convinces them to let them so they can both go into Sloane's mind. I guess it's a little bit like that episode where Janeway and Tuvok went into the mind meld, right? Like we were saying. But Troy going into her mom's head. Right. Paralyzed. Yeah. Like there's lots of these dream walking type episodes in various ways and types of things. So this is just
I can't think of an Enterprise one, but I'm sure there is one.
No, there's stuff with flashbacks. I don't think Enterprise did one, but almost all the other shows did.
Yeah.
At some point. Anyway, so they go into Sloane's mind. Here we go into the thing, and they end up in a turbolift on Deep Space Nine. Not O'Brien is more like disorientated. Like, why are we here? How did I get into this room?
This scene was funny. This scene was very funny.
I liked how Sloane explained why they're on DS9.
What do you mean? Be more.
It has nothing to do with budget or anything. It has
no. It does have anything to do with these are just the sets they have available.
Yeah.
And that's
but they're both getting anxious and they're both holding onto the handrails, and like,
well, the thing's going fast.
Are you gonna let go? Who's gonna let go first? And then they both let go, and then they start falling again. And then they run in here into good Sloane. I guess this is the aspect.
Yeah, I didn't like.
Hello.
How are you, my friends? Welcome. I want you to be more comfortable here.
Evil Sloane's my boy. I don't like good Sloane.
Stop playing with me, Sloane, and give me the cure to Odo's disease. We don't have time for this, Sloane. He's like, well, I'll totally give you the cure. It's okay. Yeah. Bashir like throws him up against the wall, but he can't say the words. He can't say like the recipe for the cure or whatever. Yeah. Sloane's mind is like Impact-Nor. Yeah. Bottle episode, I suppose. They do use the Defiant sets a little bit with like a different carpet. Anyway, so Sloane starts taking them to. I got to take you to the wardroom, then I'll be able to give you the cure. And in the wardroom, we meet all these people who we're told are like Sloane's friends and family, like his parents and his wife and kids. We find out his first name is Luther Sloane. I guess these are Sloane's parents.
They look happy.
That's his wife and that's his kids.
Yeah. Ugh.
They're not happy.
No, I wouldn't be happy. Anyway, so he kind of apologizes to them all. He's like, my death is going to be so good for all of you. You're going to be so much happier without me, and then they all clap. It is the progenitor check. Yeah. Wrong series. Exactly. So then the wife comes up and, she says, being married to him was living hell, but now that
she says it's so chipper.
Now that you guys are kind of responsible for him dying, it's better.
It's better that he's dead.
And I guess like there's part of Sloane that really believes all this, right? That like that his family's gonna be better off without him. And there's
he's clearly a deeper character than we thought, but obviously we don't have time to deal with him.
And it was ultimately these two guys who took down this like powerful intelligence operative guy.
You knock down one, 20 more take his place. That's just how it works.
Right.
You can't defeat Section 31.
But Sloane, we need that cure, Sloane. Can we get onto it? Oh, yeah. It's on this little pad in her purse. Let's get that out. Right. And here you go, gentlemen.
She had it on her iPad the whole time.
She had it on the whole time. But then good Sloane is phasered by evil Sloane back in the leather.
The good Sloane is what I like to call him.
He doesn't phaser them though. He just wants.
I think you guys got like good and bad Sloanes mixed up.
Maybe, perhaps.
That was the good one.
As soon as the bad, whichever the one in the leather, once he goes away,
that's the good one.
The wardroom is empty after that. Like the parents and the family and all that, they all disappear. And now they open a door and we see what is basically this is just a Defiance corridor set, but they changed the carpet out, I guess, to feel like it could be anywhere in the Federation. Badgie. It's Badgie Sloane.
Badgie Sloane.
Who was the good Badgie?
Just Badgie.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so we have like a transition outside of Sloane's mind back here into this lab area, and guess who's found them? Ezri and Cisco. And they're all in like the dream state here. O'Brien was supposed to come fix Ezri's replicator or something, and that's how Sonic shower. And
those are important.
But yeah, like the fact, like Cisco's like, maybe we should call more doctors in. O'Brien said like maybe we should call the captain, but like I think Bashir could have at least called one other doctor on the station to help monitor things while he's in this.
Is there another doctor on the station?
There are many.
Oh,
it's a big station. There's they need more than one doctor. he's just the chief medical officer.
Mm.
Anyway, so Cisco calls for a medical team to come. And back here in Sloane's mind, they're walking through the hallways, trying to open doors, but they're all locked one by one. And as they're approaching, what we'll find out is the actual door. This other Section 31 guy, who we don't know, he shows up. Maybe he was the backup. Maybe he was the partner who would have came here with Sloane. I don't know. But they say, we're not dealing with you, Sloane lackey. He's like, you're a threat to the Federation. And then he phasers Bashir in the shoulder here. He goes, ow, that really hurt. Yeah, I got my Bashir.
I like when you put the Bashir on there.
Yeah,
good.
that really hurt. And then O'Brien tries to wrestle with this guy, and then he gets phasered in the gut.
Looked like he took one to the nuts.
Yeah. And then the guy just like O'Brien throws him to the ground and he just poofs away. So I don't know. So this is like the longest scene coming up here in the episode. It's just these two. It's Cole Meany
Yes.
and Sig.
This is where a perfect update on Kira would be probably a good place to put it.
Like this
Meanwhile,
there's no cuts. There's no cuts here. It's just these two up against the wall for like 10 minutes. Just kind of talking about how they're hurt. And then they start going on about how Keiko's going to be upset with O'Brien that they're going to die in here, and that he did it for Bashir will only annoy her more.
Thought that was a nice touch.
He's like, you like me more than your wife. I don't. I love my wife. I love her. He's like,
why don't
yeah,
you
you
come to
love
dinner
her.
with me.
Yeah, but you like me more, don't you? He's like, don't you be ridiculous. Anyway, then we see like the light shining. I guess this is supposed to be like some symbol of heaven that they're supposed to go towards the light. And I don't know. This is, I guess, Sloane tempting them.
I love that O'Brien found it underwhelming. He's like, I'm a little disappointed.
I'm a little disappointed, quite frankly.
All the suffering I've done in my life, and this is it. This is the end. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is now that I go out here in Sloane's mind, taken out by a Section 31.
As Norman says, O'Brien must suffer too.
Yeah. Well, they managed to get some suffering here. He's like, we need to move here. We got to do our duty.
The point is to do our duty right up until the end.
We're doing our duty.
He said,
and they hit the button. So they hit the button to this room, but then all of a sudden they seemingly wake up, guys. Michael Dorn shows up for his only scene in the episode. And it's not even really Worf at all. It turns out that this is all part of the dream. They think they've woken up. They think
the dream in the dream.
The dream within the dream. Sloane appears to be dead, and Bashir tries to save him, along with whoever these people are. Maybe nurses, maybe doctors.
Oh, maybe she's a doctor.
Maybe she's a doctor. Maybe she's just the person who hands the hypospray. We're not sure, but I guess she's not real either. So
sexist.
Anyway, they're like, he's dead. Like this person, like she looks here at Cisco. She's like, no, and then he's like, yeah, you're right, no, and then he's like, Worf, go tell Bashir to stop. And even O'Brien's.
That was weird, right?
Yeah.
Like that should have been the tip off for the audience that this is not real.
Or O'Brien, because O'Brien's like, because Bashir's in the moments like, no, the cure for Odo is dying with Sloane, therefore, but O'Brien is a little bit more objective here. But he's like, nope, he's dead, and we're going home.
Yeah,
so Sloane is seemingly dead, and then Bashir goes to Odo, although this is not really Odo either. Says, well, I tried, but didn't work out, Odo. You're gonna die anyway. Thanks anyway. Thanks, you did all you could. Then Bashir talks to O'Brien. Well, he took it better than I would have, but I failed. It all didn't work out, and that's it. That's part company here. Anyway, so Bashir goes back to his quarters, picks up the book, which was referenced earlier on as O'Brien's mother's favorite book, The Best of Both Worlds, right? Is that what it is? Or The Tale of Two Cities?
Tale of Two Cities.
Tale of Two Cities. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm getting that confused. Okay. Anyway, so Bashir starts reading it, but it's and he takes it to O'Brien, which says, like, look, page 1 starts again on this page because I haven't read it. And clearly Sloane hadn't read this book either. Therefore they figured out they're still in the dream. But then as they realize that they're still in the dream, the station starts to shake and crumble as they realize Sloane is dying. And then they're back in the corridor again, walking through the hallways.
Back in black.
they're like, this is the door, I know it. And they find Sloan in his office, in his desk, with all his papers around. He can't do anything seemingly to, especially I guess as he's coming to real proper death here. He can't really seem to do anything to stop them other than talk to them, right? And he's like, well, look, I'm not going to help you find the cure. Look around yourself. So as Bashir is looking at the pad, Sloan starts tempting him with all this like stuff, saying, that's about the Jairzinho, the Federation president. We had someone in their cabinet. There's all these things. He explains that there is no Section 31 headquarters, that the stuff in his mind is so valuable that only a few select people would even have this at all. They have a huge opportunity here to take down the whole organization, which Bashir had mentioned he wants to do.
I love that he explains there is no building like this. Like there is nowhere in the world that this exists.
Yeah. That you could like find all this information. But then O'Brien finds the cure and says, this is it. The rubidium or whatever the heck it is. It's only like 4 ingredients. It seems like a pretty simple cure or something. Like
he figured out this groundbreaking technology to get into Sloan's mind, but he couldn't figure out these 4 ingredients.
No, it was outside of his purview, I suppose.
And because he reads the pad and he goes, oh yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Like
it's gotta be, right?
I knew it.
Remember, this is the same guy who just on a whim figured out how to run into people's dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
With Romulan mind probes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then I don't know, like more of just Sloan tempting Bashir, and then but because O'Brien's there, this is what Sloan didn't count on, that O'Brien would be there to yell at him and say, no, we have to save Odo. Oh yeah, right, Odo. Well, we better go. And then he does
Odo,
his thing to get out of the dream walk in here, and we go through. Sloan dies, and they wake up, and she's, oh, you're so beautiful, Ezri. This love story between Ezri and Bashir. What will ever happen? Will they? Won't they? Oh, come on, guys.
Who cares?
Yeah. Apparently we are supposed to care a lot.
Oh.
So anyway, Sloan is dead and they got the cure and they're going back here. So he puts it into those 4 ingredients into the hypo spray and he says, hey, this might hurt. Or, he's like, are you saying it's going to hurt? Yes, it will hurt. Okay. And then
doesn't appear to.
Yeah.
Well, it did for a second.
Gives Odo the cure, and Odo is
and he was
better.
back to plasticine Odo.
Yeah. He's back. He's he's wearing his new outfit. Gotta love it. It's a bit drab. And he's cured again, guys. He's back to his Odo. Back in the Quark's bar, which I guess they've broken into again. Bashir is throwing darts again. O'Brien shows up and says, hey, let's have a drink. Quark's been hiding the good stuff on us. We find out that this bottle is older than Bashir. And Bashir is how old at this point?
I don't know, but I love what he says. I'm drinking with a child.
Yeah, Bashir is 34 at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so it predates 2341, I guess. But
No Chateau Picard, that's for sure.
It's no Chateau Picard. Sorry, when is O'Brien born? How much older is he than? Hold on, guys. I just need to know now.
I don't know, but this was like finding out. I forget who it was. One of the hockey guys was born in 96, and I was like, "Are you even old enough to be in here? What the fuck?"
Yeah, O'Brien is 13 years older than Bashir, so he's it's not crazy much older, but he's I guess so. It has to be somewhere in that between 2328 and 2341. That liquor that they're drinking, which they go, wow indeed. Trying to remember. Like he cheers O'Brien for talking him out of not staying there and getting them both killed inside Section 31's head. And then he's like, I'm going for dinner with Keiko. You want to come? Okay, sure. And throws the dart at the dartboard to end the episode. as he got his
Which,
bulldog.
by the way, this dartboard is the most ghetto-looking dartboard they could have come up with. Like, wow.
It lights up, Jody.
It looks like shit.
It lights up. It's futuristic.
Yeah, well, even back when this was made, we had dartboards that looked better than that.
I suppose we did.
Ugh.
But not at Quarks. That's what they got. So anyway, that is the episode in pictures. How about some fun facts for us, Adam?
Oh, hold on. Fun facts with Adam!
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
I miss you, Jody.
I know.
Okay, so the producers were a little disappointed with the way this episode turned out. They wanted it to be an exploration of two topics, Bashir and Sloan, and Section 31, and Bashir and O'Brien's friendship. They later reflected that it would have been better by just focusing on one or the other. Oh my goodness, that would have been a very slow episode. By trying to straddle both, they didn't achieve either one. I thought they did.
They did. Like,
I don't think the friendship thing at all. Like, really, you could have replaced either one of these guys with
Like,
somebody else, and it would have.
well,
still
like,
been the
what-
same.
do they even need to really reinforce that? We kind of know
No.
that they're great
We
friends.
already know they are.
Exactly. We didn't need the reinforcement. No.
Yeah, so they're on crack.
Like when he's like, "Oh, you like me a bit more than Keiko." It's like, yeah, we all know that. Like,
Yeah.
Nothing profound was said.
That's that perfectly makes sense. I hate Keiko, so that makes perfect sense.
It was funny though, when they were saying that, I got to go see, you got to go see her for dinner, and then he invites him to come along.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm sure Keiko will be very happy to see him.
Well, he's the third wheel, right? He's always the third wheel.
But he's like, can he just ask Esri out already? That's what Keiko's saying, so that she can get miles to herself more. Or maybe she likes the fact that Bashir takes O'Brien away so much and keeps her out of her.
she can
hair.
spend more time with her plants and Sabar.
Bar. Yeah. Is that here?
You gotta do it harder.
Oh, that's it.
Harder it is.
I think it's this one. Oh.
First time any man's freedom is trodden on. We're all.
I know I have it.
7 more months.
Are we
Go
gonna
back
go
to
through
Beijing
every
and your
round?
plants and Sabar.
There you go.
See if I care.
It's Sabah.
Sabah!
Okay, so it. Sabah.
All right, you're up, Adam. Tee us up with another fun fact.
All right. Since the scenes set within Sloane's mind took place on the series' regular sets, this is a bottle show, Dave.
Yeah.
It was done.
No kidding.
No kidding.
It was done deliberately to have extra money to put towards the 2-hour finale. Good, yay, Kevin Battles. We have some battles.
Yeah.
This episode is being seen as one of the possible inspirations for the movie Inception, which came out 11 years later. Both stories involve a device that lets people walk around in somebody else's dreams or subconscious mind with the possibility of extracting information. And both of them involve a recursive dream situation in which someone thinks they've turned to reality, but then start to wonder if they're still in the dream.
Well, I never really thought that this episode inspired Inception, but I guess
Wow, that's a big jump.
I can't disprove it either. So it's
Why not?
I feel like this idea of like going into people's dreams has existed longer than Star Trek, but
Oh yeah,
could be wrong.
one of those Nightmare on Elm Street movies. All of them, technically.
Yep. This is the only episode of the final chapter arc in which Casey Biggs' Damar does not appear. The medical beds that Odo lives in the infirmary is a reuse of the stasis chamber from Voyager Resolutions and Voyager 1.
Yeah, you can tell it's like that thing from their sick bay that they use all the time. It's interesting. Okay.
At the party for Sloan, his daughter can be seen wearing the same costume worn by Amanda Rogers, or played by Olivia d'Abo, in True Q.
It was her. It was that same outfit, wasn't it?
Of course you'd notice that, Dave.
I kind of like when I looked at it, I was like,
I'm kind of disappointed he didn't mention it during the review.
Well,
I
I'd like
didn't
to see let's see the outfit now. We can go, oh yeah.
Like you only see it. I only have a screenshot maybe from.
Oh yeah.
Yes, of course. That's,
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
Now I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very distinct, when you see it, and I was like, that looks kind of familiar. All right, sorry, Adam.
No problem. This identified facility in Sloan's mind where the characters end up leaving the representation of Deep Space Nine's redress of the Defiance corridors. Dave, you called that.
Yeah.
The reference to 1859 Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities is possibly an homage to the use in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where it is given to James C. Kirk as a birthday gift by Spock. Remember that scene?
I do.
Yep.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Meaning
So that's the same prop, or it's the same book too?
Well, it's the same book. I'm not sure it's the same book though that they used.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
No, I'm pretty sure Kirk's went to the end.
No, yeah, Kirk's had all the pages. Okay.
I wouldn't be confident that he read it though.
So Jadzia, but okay, just to go, Jadzia owned this book, and then Ezri inherited the book from Jadzia, and then she lent it to Bashir, right? Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
We can go with that.
There's a 47 reference in this episode. When O'Brien says one more door, the door pad has the number 47 as one of its buttons.
Boo.
Yeah. Sloane's wife, Jessica, calls him Luther within his mind. This would indicate that his real name actually is Luther. So either he's lying to Julian and Miles and or himself to the point where that representations of his real figures in his life are referring to him to cover his identity, or that he uses real name while working as a shadow intelligence operative. Or possibly the writers just goofed.
Yeah, I feel like he was meant to be like, yeah, Luther Sloan, based on how the episode presents it, but I guess it's not completely explained, so there's a lot of things it could be.
In the initial version of the script, after the show had been changed to Bashir O'Brien and Bashir Sloan, the structure of the episodes was very much split into two distinct halves. The first half was a very dark and serious verbal duel between Bashir and Sloan. The second was a reasonable, light-hearted O'Brien and Bashir adventure.
Epic rap battles of history. Sloan versus Bashir. Yeah, that would be fun.
It was a very serious exploration of the moral implications of what Sloan had done, played against Bashir's willingness to cross the line himself and put himself in, pull the information out of Sloan's head. That much was great, but it didn't work with the tone of the second half of the show, with O'Brien's role in the version of being minimal, and meaning that the relationship aspect was tacked on. So we owed Bashir and O'Brien's relationship. We needed to see these two guys together. Don't know why. Okay, you got to hear this one. This is great. Ira Stephen Bear recalled the episode many years later. It was a Section 31 episode. I remember that much. And all I remember was Bashir and O'Brien thought they were going to die at the end. So we had to get into this discussion about it, that I'd written about how Bashir saying to O'Brien that he loved his wife, but he liked Bashir more. It was one of those few times I got called down to the set because Colm was pissed off. He didn't want to do it. Neither of them wanted to do it. We got into this whole thing. We got this whole thing about the differences and about friendship and love. That's my Colm story. He wanted to be true to Keiko, O'Brien's wife, but at the end of it, they did it, and they played it, and it was great.
Yeah, like it's interesting, like then and now how you look at that scene, right? Where it's like, well, yeah, like if I was gay, I would be totally gay with you, but I'm not gay, so I'm with Keiko. It's kind of the way it plays now for me. I didn't
get that.
No,
I get that they're really. I don't even know they needed that. I mean, they've already sold me on the fact that they're best friends.
Yeah.
They spend all their time together. They play games together.
When O'Brien isn't being tortured.
Yeah.
Or those few times when Keiko's actually, on the show or on the station, right? But like I get that. I don't know. Kevin, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think they needed it. They didn't need any of this. Like I don't mind it, but they didn't need it. We know. Yeah, they've established this relationship over the last 3 years at least. We don't need this final declaration of love between these guys. We just don't.
Yeah,
True.
Okay, and finally, here is this was actually going to be an Odo episode. Ronald D. Moore stated initially, I thought it was to have Odo going into Luther Sloan's mind and having a surreal adventure where he eventually ran into Dr. Mara and learned that it was his own father who created the changeling disease.
That would
Unable to really mine this concept for all it was worth, we junked it and decided to make one final Bashir O'Brien adventure.
That would have been better.
I don't know if it would have been better. It would have been more like, I guess, like shocking and like, so that could be better. I don't know if, but
what a twist.
It's yeah. Like the last time we saw Dr. Mora, it was kind of a good moment. So I would really take that away. But anyway.
Yeah. And then there was one more reference to the budget. Once the issue of who would be in the episode was finalized and how the episode was going to work, the plan was for Sloan's mind to be like a labyrinth with dark corridors, hidden rooms, and traps. However, the art department couldn't afford to build the sets, so they suggest using the existing Deep Space Nine sets, lighting and decorating them with unusual ways to look different. In the beginning, we planned to have an Alice in Wonderland kind of experience in Sloan's mind. It was very surreal, and the art department was very excited, but they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I don't think
time to do that, honestly, in 1 hour.
Having different sets wouldn't have necessarily made this a better story. I don't think. Okay, so what the only one thing I might add to your facts here, Adam, before we get to the ratings, is just that like when Sloan activates his like suicide device or whatever, we're told he'll be dead in like 43 minutes, right? But then how much time really goes by here with like them building this contraption, them going into the mind? And,
O'Brien was on the ground like through that whole scene. He was like, he's down there, man. They're ripping this thing apart.
Right. And by the time they go into there, they're like, well, he'll be dead in like 30 minutes or something. So it's like, oh, that only took 10 minutes for you guys to pull all that together. Like,
and then they come out of Sloan's mind. Like they think they've come out of Sloan's mind. That they spend a lot of time out of there too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the time doesn't make any sense.
Enough time that Bashir thinks that Keiko has gone to bed in the next room, right? Like, so he's come home, maybe had dinner with her, said like, Bashir thinks I like you more than more than you.
Yeah,
as if. Anyway, I guess he'd have to have that conversation again. Anyway, so with all that, guys, let's get into our ratings here and put a number on this episode. Kevin, you want to go first tonight?
Sure, 9. I love it.
9 from Kevin. All right. From Adam.
An 8.
An 8. Jody?
Yeah, I'll do an 8. Same idea.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like 7.5 for me.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking ahead. Sorry, back. I'm giving an 8. I did give an 8. Sorry.
You gave an 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jody, looks like you filled in for last week.
I did,
9.
Yeah.
So I think that tacking into the wind is end up going to be one of our best episodes. Norman's saying 3.5 out of 10 for this one. He does not care for it as much. 5.5 from Sam. Wow. Any rating from Davan out there in the comments?
10.
It'll be a 10. Yeah.
He doesn't like Section 31, so I doubt it. But it'll probably be a 0 just for that. Okay, well, that is Extreme Measures, guys. And then looking ahead to the next episode, it's called The Dogs of War. I think we've heard that before. What happens in this one? The Dominion is going to strike back against the Cardassians. We're gonna have some storylines here with Quark and the Grand Nagus in the next episode. And there's more stuff going on with Bashir and Ezri. That's exciting for you guys. Will they, won't they, guys?
Oh, they will.
Yeah. Geez. Oh, here it is.
Hey, Abba! And let's set the dogs of war.
That's what we're covered up to here.
Speaking of Dogs of War, how many was in the litter? 10. Just so you know. So
yes.
there you go. I had to answer that question. Plus,
how many boys, girls were there?
There's the puppies, yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, there's one of them anyway. Well,
Well, the
a couple of them.
getting so big.
That almost looks like a toy dog almost. It doesn't
Yes,
even-
they're golden retrievers.
Yeah.
There you go,
so,
Sam.
So you enjoying that whole experience, Jody?
Well, the kennel deals with most of it. We go for visitation and stuff like that, and sometimes, but my dog's back now, so the mom is back with me. So there's some, postpartum stuff you have to deal with.
Okay.
So they got to ice them down and stuff like that. So I was doing that. That's actually why I was running late, but it turns out everybody was running late, so that worked out all right.
Right.
So,
Well, Sam, good to know. Sam asking here, which finale is better, Enterprise or Deep Space Nine? Well, you know what? We're gonna table that question because Adam hasn't seen the finale of Deep Space Nine yet.
Yep.
Well, remember, we didn't count that last episode of Enterprise as an episode. Remember that?
What last episode?
So do you just go based on Terra Prime or whatever?
Terra Prime is the last ending of that show. I don't acknowledge any other ones.
These are the voyages. Yeah, like it doesn't get much lower.
Just like
than
back in the day when Kevin said that Enterprise didn't exist, that episode doesn't exist.
Yeah, that episode's garbage.
I'll grant you that. That fucking episode is bad.
It is terrible.
Yeah, let's just nose dive into like explosion here.
No, I don't have the puppies. They're at the kennel. There you go.
I think we could have just
no
a
more
puppy
puppy
cast.
talk now.
We got just a puppy cast where Jody answers questions about puppies.
Apparently, yeah, they're cute.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it only took us less than an hour to talk about this episode, mostly because there's not a ton that happened in it. In terms of
and there's 5-minute long scenes that can be summed up with, yeah, that happened.
Right. Like, yeah, true. And I did summarize some things there.
Did you like my set, by the way?
I do. It's the Orville.
It is the Orville. I wonder why that's happening.
Well, we're going to be starting up the Orville podcast. We still have to do next week's episode. We got the finale, and then we have our final introspective. So I suppose we can actually look at towards a date here.
Yeah.
So about 4 weeks. So I guess like that last week of May is probably when we're starting it all up.
It's got to be May
for Deep Space and not for Deep Space, for Next Generation and the Orville coming our way. The Orville will be on Monday nights starting late May. So look out for that. We'll be going through all those episodes. I know Davin's very excited. So
Davan won't even be on it.
Oh, he's coming.
He'll be on it, but he'll only be on it so he can bitch about it and not watch the episode.
Oh, yeah.
And then give it a 0.
Mostly complain about Seth MacFarlane is what.
Mostly complain about Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, and his existence and his face and how he wants to punch Seth MacFarlane's face. But you know what? We're gonna.
There's a lot of people that want to punch Davin too. So
hey,
fair
like
trade.
It could be we could have like a fight.
Maybe we got to get an MMA thing going on here.
Yeah, or we got
Seth
an epic
MacFarlane
rap battle.
I don't even know who I'd put my money on that one.
I don't know. I have no comment.
They're both pretty spunky.
Yeah. So yeah, look out for all those podcasts. Of course, right now Star Trek Discovery is in its 5th season. We got episode 6 coming up this Thursday. I'll be talking with Adam and Chris Murphy.
Thank God
and
it's almost
Ashley,
over season.
Michael Chan. So look out for that. This next this next episode, I just it's called Whistle Speak, guys. Look out for that. Looks like a First Contact episode is coming up. I don't know.
Great thing to do at the end of a series.
They're doing their thing, and then of course we have the United Federation of Podcasts, which is like our further network of podcasts, which is all kinds of different shows, like the X-rated show. Talk about X-Men the animated series and X-Men '97 right now with Davan and Andre.
There may be nudity.
There may be nudity. There may.
It is X-rated.
In one of the episodes, Xavier's like, my X-Men, they were drinking wine, making love. Like, it was so funny to me. It wasn't meant to be funny, but it was funny to me. Super Bader Brothers podcast every Wednesday. Talk about Survivor 46 right now. Look out for that. If you like Survivor. Graphic Histories with Andre Mayette. All kinds of great interviews over there. Comic book artists, people in entertainment. Hold Up is a movie podcast with Davan and Murphy it's once a month, and right now they're working on their bicycle movies. I think they're coming up this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Bicycle movies, really?
Yeah, like Pee-wee's oh no, they're on tonight, guys. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Sorry, they're on right now. So go check out Hold Up, but don't leave yet. I have more plugs.
I might crash it.
Yeah. Eamon on Track music podcast. Look out for Jaemeel Robinson joining Eamon soon to talk about their album. Hey, did you see this one with Jason and Steven? Also a movie podcast, and Trivial Debates, which was just on yesterday, talking about Avatar, The Last Airbender. So all kinds of great shows, guys, in the network, if you don't know. And on Friday night, we just did our Star Trek Radio Theater here on Live Long and Podcast. Go back and listen to that if you haven't already.
I haven't listened to it yet. I want to.
You know what?
Haven't got there yet.
You know, it was Mott's birthday yesterday, and for his birthday, he gave us a very fast-paced narration. I got to tell you.
He was fast. I think we were faster than it should have been anyway.
Yeah, I guess so. It was. He moved us along. Don't you worry. Moved along home.
He kept it going, eh?
Oh yeah. We're
all right.
They didn't break the prime directive quite enough.
That's true.
Bring back KBBL. Well, that you can keep petitioning Davan.
Go talk to Davan about that one.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I pulled a clip to end off our podcast here tonight. It's a little long, so you don't have to pull up your Vulcan salute till the end. But I probably would have trimmed it down if I had a bit more time. But anyway, we're gonna listen to it anyway. Here we go, and we'll see you next time. Wish me good luck, Sam, with your wisdom teeth surgery and watching the Voyager episodes.
You did it for me. That's what'll upset her the most. She always said I liked you more than I liked her. That's ridiculous. Maybe you do a bit. What? What? You crazy? She's my wife. I love her. Of course you love her. She's your wife. Yeah. I'm just saying maybe you like me a bit more, that's all. I do not. You spend more time with me. We work together. We have more in common. Julian, you are beginning to annoy me. Darts, racquetball, Luke's Lounge, the Alamo.
All right. We'll see you next time, everyone. Live long and podcast.